But one important piece of advice is that when you go to buy a new plane, you actually need the money to buy it. Okay, I don't have the money to go buy a new jet. So what I'm gonna do is just fix what I got. Okay, so let's get a close-up look at the jet here. Wasted. But before we do that, I want to show you something here. Here it is, 95 friggin' degrees. Okay, so back to the jet. The main concerns I'm going to try to fix first is this servo for the rudder, and this steerable nose wheel. And you can see that this wire comes off of here and it goes all the way up the fuselage, all the way up in through the rudder, and then it pops out right here. Or does it pop out right there? And then it comes up at an angle, and then you got to put your control horn at an angle, and the whole thing just won't center. And I even have one of my good little high-tech Metal Gear servos in there, and it still doesn't work very good. So I'm gonna do away with all that, and I think I'm gonna actually put a servo right in a thick part of the rudder right here somewhere. We'll figure something out. So that's the rudder and the steerable nose wheel. Obviously I gotta glue that up. I don't know if there's anything actually broken, and I'm going to take those bombs off, clean it up a little bit, and then check out this flimsy tail section. Something's got to be done with it. So I'm going to go with more of a conventional, where I have a horizontal stabilizer and then the actual elevator. I'm just going to glue it to the side and then cut it so that we can hinge it and go up and down and stuff. And then also I don't think if there's enough light. Take a look at what's going on the inside there. Got a decent motor, fan blade's okay, everything looks alright, but we're going to open it up. I'm going to get to it from here and find out what is going on. I got to take off that white piece on the landing gear because that side doesn't have it. Alright, well, let's get started and take you step by step, I suppose. First thing I'm going to do, the very first thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to glue up this section right here, some toothpicks and stuff, and that way it won't be flopping around and get any worse while I'm working on it. Okay, so what's going to be the easiest way for me is to, from the outside, just push these in as far as I can get them. You know, about here or however far they'll go in from the top, and then just snip them off right there, and you know, glue it first. Some glue in there, and then shove it together, and it's got strength and will be held together with the hot glue real good. Okay, so there we go. We got it glued up, painted up, and I think it's going to hold up okay. Right there. You know, we'll give it a couple whacks with a hammer first to see if it's strong enough. Next, I think I'm going to move on to this area and see what I can do about that mess. Okay, got the nose wheel somewhat straightened out. I had to glue up this little thing here, that was all tweaked. And the next step is up in here, it looks like it's come loose right there. That's pulled loose, so I'm going to get that glued up there. And I'm going to pull off this wheel real quick and try getting it so it works, that it's not so friggin' wobbly. I've got the collar all the way onto the end. I tried to move it in a little bit, but it just got all bound up when it rolled. So let me get off of there and we'll take a look. Okay, so I undid the set screw in here and then pull it out. I actually moved that collar in a little bit, and it actually seems okay right now, but it just rubs and there's bindings. So what I decided to do is I found this little washer, little plastic washer, and I'm going to put that on the inside, and then put the wheel on over it, and then put the collar on. So let's. Well, that actually feels really good. I just hope this piece doesn't, the tire should hold it in. The rim should hold it there without it. It's got no room to move on top, but that feels really good. I like that. I'm gonna go with that action right there. Let's make sure it's nice and tight. And then, just get it this way. It's got a flat end on it. I'm sure you all know that. It's got a flat part to it. Let me see if I can focus it in. Flat part to it on the top right there. And then that set screw on the bottom goes right in there. So what I do is I stick it in there best I can, tighten it down, and then back it off about a turn, and then see if I can move my wheel up and down and turn it slightly, because that means you're right in the slot. And then just crank it down and you should be good. Okay, we got that glued up in there. Got that glued up, got the steering wheel all straightened out. Now what we're gonna do is move on to the steering for the wheel. Now that's a really good expensive servo, and I'm thinking, why should I waste that on just a nose wheel? So what I'm going to do is take that one out, put in a cheaper plastic gear one, and then probably move that good servo on over to the rudder and use it for rudder control, because it's a nice, precise, high-tech servo. So we'll do that. Let's get started. Okay, I figured out why I used one of my good servos for that section there. I think mainly it was in hopes that the strength of this and the metal gears would be able to center my rudder better, but it never did. But the main reason I think I used it is because it's the only micro servo I have that was going to fit the stock control horn for the landing gear. You know, you need this one they got the holes cut out on this side, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to make my own control horn and use this high-tech HS55 $5 servo, and we'll see how it comes out. Okay, ran into a little problem here. The only control horn I have for this HS55 is this small one. Now I could cut through all the holes to make a big long slot in there, but the it's too small for that thick rod. You can see that rod just would not be big enough. It would be paper thin on the inside. So what I'm going to do is that this other little piece came with a kit I once had. I forget what it was for, but they have this little adapter deal, and all you do is screw it and glue it right on top of your existing servo horn, and I can then cut out a slot right in there. That should do the trick, because it's made out of plastic and it's pretty sturdy. So let's give it a shot and see if we can get it to work. Okay, I got that servo horn glued onto this piece of plastic, and then I took a drill bit about the same size. You can measure it up like that. You see, about the same size as that piece of plastic, and then by hand, they had two existing holes in it. I just drilled through those. But now what I'm going to do is hook it up to a drill and try to drill it out. So let me get that going right here in front of you. I really drilled out a lot, I really drilled out a lot. That's gonna have a lot of slop in it. So let me see what I can do to tighten it up. Okay, since I jacked up that first one by drilling it too big, what I'm gonna do is, here's the original horn, and the part that fits onto the servo is too big. So what I'm gonna do is put this one upside down and put it on top, so we have a nice strong control horn. Let me glue it up. Okay, so here's my solution. I glued that on top of the servo horn, which gives me a nice clean slot, the original size. And then also here is how I'm going to connect it to the servo from underneath. Let me put it together and see how it comes out. Okay, so there we go. We got that installed. Let's see if we can see when I move it to the side. Wheels turning, staying in there just nice. So we got it. Hey, we did it. Didn't have to go to the hobby store. That's the main thing. Can we fix this without having to go to the hobby store? And I think we can. Okay, here it is, all hooked up. You can see we turned that top servo. That's got some sweet action. You can see the steering wheel turn as well, the actual wheel itself. So that's good. It's even going in the right direction, I'll be darned. Okay, there we go. We finagled things around and got a good result. That's what it's all about. Alright, next I'm going to liberate these little missiles on the side. From there and there. They're not doing me any good, and it looks like garbage. So we will take them off and try to make it look semi-decent. Okay, there she is without the bombs. Bombs came off pretty nicely. And then on the end I just took a black Sharpie and kind of colored in the ends. So we got that far, just working our way back. Alright, aileron kind of slipping out there. Let me just tack that up real quick. I don't want it to get on the hingy part. It looks like it's going to. Alright. We're going to loosen that up. We'll loosen it up after it dries. Use an X-Acto to get in there and kind of loosen it up. That side looks pretty good. Okay, now we're going to work on the rudder situation. So I'm going to use my high-speed high-speed Metal Gear servo, and I think I want to place it horizontally just about there, high enough for my control arm to come up and get a nice straight line to this control horn here. What I do to mark it is put it right where I want it and then push real hard against the foam, and then you've got a little mark where you want it, and you can cut around that. So let me cut around that, and then we'll come back to it. Okay, so I've cut out the hole, and we could fit the servo in there one-handedly. Fits in there real nice and neat, like that. Now, put a control horn on there and a linkage rod, and we're good. However, the biggest part is what to do routing out the wire to get it back all the way up here. And let me see what I figure out. Okay, so here's the bottom of the plane. I took off the cover, landing gear cover, and the fan. The fan I took away, moved the fan. I moved away. And then what I think I'm gonna do is, it's got this channel for the mainly for the speed control wires to go under the fan, but I'm gonna come in on the other side and come straight down, which will come up right about here, and then run that all the way down this, and then put a nice piece of tape over the whole thing. So let's try it out.